Good afternoon. You're just in time for NEWSFEED right here on TV 47. My name is Musa Salah. Do talk to us. 22047 is our SMS line. You can also find us on social media at TV 47 Kenya on Facebook, as well as at TV 47 K on Twitter. The hashtag to use is NEWSFEED. Let's now take a look at some of the top stories making news at this hour. Police are investigating how 3 robbers managed to make their way to Chinese residential homes at the ongoing mega KARIMINU 2 dam in Gatundu North and made away with 6 million shillings last night. The incident confirming the incident in a phone interview, Kiambu Police County Commander Ali Nuno said the 3 robbers armed with a pistol and knives are reported to have entered the homes of the Chinese nationals building the dam through a tunnel at 9 p.m. The police have arrested 3 suspects so far, including the driver, a watchman, and a house help. The suspects are detained at Kamwangi Police Station as further investigations into the matter continues.
Well, it was around 9:17
in the PM.
PM. Ndio nini moja one of the cashiers alitoka Nairobi kwa zamani, so wakakata mapati nyuma in a fence, and then they come down the tunnel, wakaingia hapo. They took one of them hostage.
How many of them?
1. Alafu wakisubiri wengine akuja inside the house. So huyu alipokuja wakaenda na money estimated to be about 6 there's no injury. He has been arrested. No, ni watchman. Na brother. Na house help ambayo wana.
Now, moving on, the Kenya Association of Sugarcane and Allied Products, KASAP, now wants the national government to put on adequate measures upon the investor expected to take over MUMIAS sugar factory to make sure they include cane farmers in their decision-making. Busia County KASAP Secretary General Monica Mungala says the cane farmers must be included in the decision-making before a new investor is brought in, insisting that farmers are wallowing in abject poverty due to, of course, stuck with the miller. This comes as one of the bidders, Devki Steel Mills Limited, on Friday announced that it had withdrawn its bid to take over the running of MUMIAS Sugar Company.
Na wale watu wenye waliiba MUMIAS bado wako live, wako in government, they are still live. Tutajuaje kama wamekuja kwa nguo zingine na ni wale? Sasa sisi wakulima tunataka tuwekewe mikakati, tuongeleshwe, tuelewe ni nini yeye anatuambia. Anaenda kunegotiate without me a farmer. Anaenda kunegotiate on my wealth. Na ni prepare psychologically, kwa sababu mtu akikuiba unaambiwa tena enda hapo, lazima utaenda kama we ni muoga. Uwezi enda huko kama wewe una ujasiri ya kuwa sasa wamekuja vizuri. Hata huyo mwenye amekuja kuchukua MUMIAS, ni vyema tujue ana msukumo kutoka wapi, ana kina nani ndani yake. Ndipo hata tukipeana miwa zetu tusiwe na uoga. Wale waizi wenye waliiba MUMIAS jamani wanatembea paka leo. Na kuna Kenya hii, hakuna penye watu wameporwa kuliko MUMIAS. MUMIAS imepora wakulima kuliko kitu ingine. Sasa saa hii mimi nashukuru ifunguliwe, lakini plani ya kufunguliwa ni vyema tujue ni nini inafanyika.
Quite interesting details there on the revival of MUMIAS Sugar Factory right there. Of course, keep talking to us. 22047 is our SMS line. You can also find us on social media at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, as well as at TV47 K on Twitter. The hashtag to use, of course, is NEWSFEED. Now, moving on, sugarcane farmers have for the 2nd day in a row held the demonstrations in MUMIAS town, protesting what they say is political interference in the revival of MUMIAS Sugar Company. Violet Amuma now
farmers' demonstration has entered its second day here in Mumias town, many of them pointing fingers at politicians for frustrating efforts of revival of Mumias Sugar Company. Earlier on today at Shibale, we were able to talk to some of the demonstrators, and this is what they had to say.
Hatutaki mtu yoyote kutoka nje ya Kakamega County. Tunasikia wengine wanatoka Bungoma. Kuna mashini huko Nzoia waongelee mambo ya Nzoia, wasiendelee mambo ya Mumias. Na sisi kama wakulima, kama mimi vile nasema hivi, mimi ni shareholder Mumias Sugar, na tena niko na miwa saa hivi nasema miwa eka 30 iko tayari, sina mahali pa kupeleka.
Ambapo sisi kama vijana tunajipata sasa hivi, tunajipata kwa biashara zingine chafu, tunajulikana kwa vitu mbaya. Hii yote inakujana na sababu na wanasiasa. Wakati investor yote anakaribia kuja kukamsha hii kampuni yetu, wanaingilia, wanaileta siasa, wanaturudisha nyuma. Sisi tumechoka na tunaomba kama vijana, wanasiasa tafadhalini, kaeni kando kwa muda, tuamshe kampuni, tuanze kupata pesa.
Saa hii Mumias Sugar imeenda chini na hatutakubali msiasa yoyote yenye nakuja kukorofisha maendeleo ya hapa Mumias. Hatutakubali kamwe.
Watu wazee wameuza mashamba katika Mumias zone yote kwa sababu ya umaskini. Hii mtu ambao mashini ya mailala. Hii hatupendi hivyo. Wanasiasa yoyote ambaye wanataka kuwa kisingiti, tuamulike na watatafuta viti, watatuomba kura zetu. Msiwape hata kura moja.
Tunaomba politician wote wa Western waungane pamoja na wasupport Rawali. Tuona atapeleka sisi watu ya Mumias namna gani, umaskini huko juu.
Their sentiments have been echoed by Council of Elders here in Mumias town, who have urged politicians to stay away in matters Mumias Sugar Company.
Mambo mingi ya siasa imeharibu miwa. Tumewapewa nafasi hata kwa bunge, kwa Senate na sehemu nyingi sana, lakini wameshindwa kutuwakilisha. Tunakuja mbele pamoja kama wakulima na wazee wa Council of Elders, tukiwa tunataka mwongozo ya kufufua kampuni ya Mumias Sugar.
Unaweza kuongea jambo kwa bunge kama Senator Malala alisema, na hajatembea huku chini kuona maoni gani wakulima wako nayo.
This comes a day after prospective investor Raval Devisky withdrew his bid in the whole process of revival of Mumias Sugar Company. The demonstrations comes amidst politicians' call for transparency in the whole process of revival of Mumias Sugar Company. Reporting for TV47, I'm Violet Auma.
Thank you, Violet Auma, for that report. Now, pupils at Carling Primary School in Donholm, Nairobi have commemorated the World Environment Day by conducting a tree planting exercise in their school compound. At the same time, the pupils were engaged in lessons on matters environmental conservation. Some of the lessons they were taught include the practice of nurturing trees to maturity and the symbolic covenant of committing to tree conservation. Daniel Kasisi, the teacher who led the exercise, has emphasized on the importance of instilling the value of environmental conservation to children while in their formative stages.
But if we look at the environment, we see a lot of pollution, and maybe it's a high time we checked on the behavior change. And that is why we thought maybe we can start teaching the children while still at formative stage to learn the green practices.
We envision a country or a production of children who are geared towards solving their own problems. And I think the environment is part of this. And so as a school, we want to be a model of an eco school where we'll be able to teach values and give children knowledge and skills that are able to propagate the need to preserve and protect our environment.
By planting these trees, we need to take care of them because after they mature, the fruits will get seeds and we'll plant more. But also we have to protect the next generations to come because our environment is our responsibility.
Now away from that, on to Mombasa. 800 bags of contraband sugar worth 4 million shillings have been destroyed in Mombasa County. The exercise, which was led by the Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata, included sugar that had been impounded from unscrupulous traders in the coastal city. Our reporter Petronila Goren with the details.
The contraband sugar was destroyed in Kibarani just a few months after yet another consignment of sugar worth 14 million shillings was seized from warehouses, wholesale markets and supermarkets in Mombasa. According to Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata, the sugar, which was packed in 50-kilogram bags, is mostly imported from foreign countries, but unscrupulous traders were repackaging it in bags indicating it was imported from neighboring countries.
We are banning sugar worth 4 million. Had it been allowed to be sold in our markets. The previous exercise on 28th of January, we banned sugar worth 14 million. So I think this concludes the effort, and we hope that our businessmen have complied. This was what had remained in our small trader shops, wholesalers, small supermarkets.
The regional commissioner also warned businessmen against the illegal trade, as it was destroying the country's economy through the evasion of tax. He further stated that the government was keen on identifying and prosecuting those smuggling goods through porous borders.
You play the dirty game, government catches up with you, it prosecutes you, and we impound the product and destroy it. So that other people learn this lesson. We want clean trade, we want clean business, we want clean products in Kenyan households and in Kenyan businesses. That's all that we after. If you sneak in illegal goods, you'll be caught. And this is what we've been doing all along. We are here for that purpose.
Elungata said measures to tame smuggling at border points were bearing fruit, noting that several traders suspected to be involved in smuggling had been arrested and charged in recent past. A multi-agency team comprising of Kenya Revenue Authority KRA, National Police Service, Kenya Bureau of Standards, and Kenya Ports Authority and other relevant state agencies are working round the clock to guard the region and the country at large against contraband goods. Patronila Goren for TV47, Mombasa County.
Now away from Mombasa County, for the next 21 days, officials from the Ministry of Lands will be camping in Tulele area of Narok East Sub-County to ensure that 7,000 residents receive their title deeds 40 years after the land was adjudicated. Speaking when he visited the area on Friday, Lands Principal Secretary Nicholas Muraguri said that Tulele was a prime area located a few kilometers from Narok town, hence the reason why the state was so keen in ensuring that all the deserving members receive their title deeds to enable them develop their land as well as access loan facilities from financial institutions.
Regards into Tulele community. As the governor said, we are also working closely to ensure that people in Narok town and no other towns within the county also get their title deeds, so that the historical problem of absence of title deeds in urban areas, which has hampered growth of urban areas in Narok, is resolved once and for all.
Wananchi hawa wote wanaishi katika hiyo sections ya Tulele. Wote pia wamechoka wakingoja na wako tayari kushirikiana na county government pamoja na national government kuona ya kwamba hizo cases ambaye zimebaki imekuwa resolve, ili hiyo mambo imalizike, ndio His Excellency the President mwenyewe aweze kuja na kupatia watu title deed yao, ndio watu waweze kuishi kwa amani.
Wakati ambapo uamuzi umetolewa, tuwe tayari kukubali uamuzi ambayo umetolewa ili tuweze kuendelea mbele. Kwa hivyo naomba ushirikiano wa viongozi wote ili tuweze kutatua hili tatizo, na baada ya siku 21 tuwe tumemaliza hiyo kazi.
Actually, agricultural land, Bwana PS, is diminishing in this country. Very soon, as a country, we will be importing food. Why? A person buy lands 1,000 acres inside a very potential agricultural area, and then they subdivide into towns. And very soon we might be importing food from Tanzania or Uganda, because we lack planning of this agricultural land or zoning completely agricultural land such that it can't be sold. I think the policy or the law that was put, that people should not divide into 5 acres, should be implemented immediately.
Now, still on matters related to land, landowners affected by the construction of Kenol Marua Road will be compensated from next week. This is according to Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia, who says that the ministry is working closely with the National Lands Commission to ensure all those affected by the construction of the 84-kilometer dual carriage road get their money. The construction has been divided into two slots, one starting from Kenol to Sagana, covering 48 kilometers, and the remaining 36 kilometers from Sagana to Marua. Each lot has been assigned a specific contractor.
The residents of this area allowed early entry of the contractor even before they were paid for their land. And this is what has allowed the contractor to continue with works without any hindrance. The money for the land owners will start to be paid from next week, on Monday next week. On the side of Kirinyaga, we have about 650 land owners who will be compensated. 500 of them starting from next week. The side of Nyeri, there will be about 900 land owners. The money is available. We are processing the payments quickly through the National Land Commission to make sure they do not get disadvantaged. So far, we have done 9,500 kilometers of roads. 9,500. Against the promise which was in the manifesto 8 years ago of 10,000 kilometers. We still got more than 1 year to go. Our target is to make sure we meet more than 11,000 kilometers.
Let's now head over to Narok County. Environment Cabinet Secretary Keriako Tobiko has asked the Ma people not to relent in preserving their rich culture for posterity. Speaking during the Ildamat Clan Youth Graduation Ceremony, commonly known as Manyata in Narok East Sub-County, Tobiko said the Ma culture has united all the Maasais living in Kenya. He further called on the Ma community to shun retrogressive cultural practices like female genital mutilation and early marriages that continue to pull the community behind.
Mwachamila na ndio rais alisema amekubali kwamba nyinyi muendelee, sisi wa Maasai tufanye sherehe zetu za kawaida za kimila ya Kimaasai. Mwaka jana Kajiado yote ilianza na Matapato, ilianza na Puruko mpaka Kaptiei. Kwa hizo manyata zote za Kajiado ziliendelea mwaka jana. Na hakuna hata moja ambaye rais wetu hakunituma ni mwakilishi. Sisi amesema kuna zile zingine ambazo sasa zimepitwa na wakati. Hakuna mila kama hiyo. Kutuache, so let's be proud about our culture, and we are proud about it. The Ma culture is a very beautiful culture, but there are some cultural practices that are outdated na hiyo lazima tuyaondoe.
Away from matters culture on to matters health, the Ministry of Health has called for concerted efforts by county governors in managing solid waste management in hospitals. Speaking while commissioning the county waste shredder, Health Principal Secretary Susan Mochache acknowledged that waste management has doubled since the onset of COVID-19 due to mass use of masks, gloves and PPEs, saying health facilities need to be careful. Mochache is now calling on Kenyans to be responsible in their handling of masks to contain surging cases of infections caused by poor solid waste management. Take a look.
Management of healthcare waste has the potential to expose not just the patients but the healthcare workers and their handlers, and as well as the communities at large, to injuries, to infections and toxic effects that can come upon them. Further, we need to recognize that there is an ever-present risk of environmental pollution that eventually finds its way into our food, into our water sources. And so a project like this is not just for what we are seeing now, but it is the longer-term impact that it can have on the environment and our own safety as the people living here. It is notable that the healthcare and community waste generated since COVID-19, as I said, has increased because of the disposable masks. I don't know whether we ever pause to ask ourselves, where do all these masks go to? the gloves. You now have those PPEs that you use in the hospitals, and really times have changed. And so these are issues that are, bringing a challenge to the waste management of healthcare waste in our country. We've all been challenged as a country, as a people of this world, to seek for innovation, which is environmental friendly, cost effective, and able to really take care of our environment, even as it supports the disposal.
And parents whose children did not attain university grades have been called upon to enroll them in technical training institutions. Speaking during a tree planting exercise in India Technical Institute, the principal Josephine Wanjiru said that parents should not see such students as failures and should guide them in achieving other milestones in life. The principal further said that with the Big Four agenda, the government is providing sponsorship to all the students enrolling in technical institutions and can also apply for help.
Application pale nje, because at currently it is our hands that do help us during work, na hatuwezi kuwa wote tunang'ang'ania ile kazi ofisi. Some of us have to go out there. Lazima tunahitaji engineer mwenye anatengeneza gari. We need people in the offices for ICT. We need people who will help us building in construction. We need people mwenye watatusaidia kutengeneza stima. If all of us tukikimbilia ile kazi ofisi, that means that we won't be having these technical colleges, of which zinatusaidia sana.
We would want you to go around in the workshops and you see what the government has done, because they are encouraging students who have left Form 4, even the ones who left Stud 8, dropped out of Stud 8, not really dropping, they have done KCSE, and if they didn't make it to secondary and they are over 18 years, they all come here. And these students behind me, they are actually sponsored by the government.
So we are urging, especially the community around, they should not keep their children at home. We want to mop all the youth that are out there to come here. They get courses that are useful in their lives.
Well, let's now take a look at the KTDA wrangles. Tea farmers in central zone of Kisii County have raised their dissatisfaction over the failure by the Kenya Tea Development Authority, or rather agency, to recognize the newly elected officials. Addressing the media after another failed takeover, the newly elected chairman of the Kisii Tea Factories, Richard Nyagwachi, said they could not account to the tea farmers for the short stint they have been in office. He accused the Kenya Tea Development Agency's head office in Nairobi for what he termed as causing confusion by restraining the unity manager from attending their meetings.
We don't know what is happening with this factory, and the farmers are very much impatient because they are always asking us, since we elected you, what have you done? And we really don't have good answers to give to them. So last week, I think we elected our board member who is going to present us in Nairobi, and they are planning to take over the head office board. So we are still waiting to take over these activities. We really don't know what is happening in this factory.
Sindikishwa huko kama vile tumesikia rumors, wengine wanasema watafunja hiyo watafunga ofisi. Ofisi ni yetu, sisi ndio tulichenga na tutaichenga tena, kwa sababu tutachenga hiyo ofisi vizuri na iwe renovated. Si ni lazima ununue viti mpya. So madirectors wetu wataingia huko. Tuna kitu ya kwanza ile nafanya sisi kama wakulima na viongozi wa eneo hii, tunataka watu wetu watoke kwa umasikini. Wamenyanyaswa for long.
Na mimi nashindwa ya kwamba watu ambao madirectors wanasema wakae pamoja na serikali wasungumzie hii mambo, walikuwa wapi all this time? Kuna wakati wameuliza serikali ambao wanataka kuzungumza naye, ama ni wakati wamefikiwa wamefichuliwa vile wanafanya mabaya, ndio sasa wanaanza kulia kuambia wakulima kwamba serikali haijawasaidia. Wakulima wamekuwa wakilia, wamelia siku